Hey everyone, welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour. I'm Joe,
And I'm Serena.
and we are here today with the Golden Bachelor himself, Mel Owens. Mel, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
How you
Thanks
doing?
for coming on.
I'm doing great. Thank you.
How do you feel? You finished filming, correct?
Yes, we finished a couple weeks ago.
How do you feel?
Feel good. Feel very good.
Okay, all right, good. I love to hear it. Let's start from the beginning. How did this come about? Like, how did you even get approached to do it?
Oh, it was sort of fortuitous. One of my friends introduced me to some casting people, and then one thing led to another. And I was interviewed and then casted thereafter.
Okay, nice.
And going into it, had you ever watched the show? How familiar were you with the Bachelor franchise?
I had, I think it started in 2002 or thereabouts. So I had watched it from that point going forward for about maybe 2, 3 years. Then I had my boys, and then I didn't have as much time to watch. But I was in and out of the Bachelor uh, broadcast from time to time, so I knew about, how it worked and some of the people. But I didn't really follow it that closely because I had my kids, and I was, they were playing and doing other things. So I mean, I know about it, of course, and I was a fan. I've always been a fan, but not like a ardent fan like I was at the beginning. And then at the end, again, it's like football. Right? If it's on, you're going to watch it. If but I wasn't someone who watched it all the time because I just was doing other things. But I liked it, and I understood the sort of the format. But I had not seen the Golden Bachelor other than the first opening scene, and then
Okay.
that's when they come out of limousines. And that's the only part I saw about the Golden Bachelor. I didn't know how it ended. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know the people. But obviously I'm familiar with the Bachelor.
Going back to that time when you first watched the show, do you remember how you felt watching it? Did you think it was fake? Did you think it did you watch it thinking like, no way someone could actually fall in love on this show?
No, I thought it was a very fascinating idea.
Okay.
I was probably 40 years old,
Okay.
right around 40. I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was great. I was into it. Yeah, I was a lawyer, and so in a law firm, people were always, talking about it. And this was the first few years, and it was intriguing. They had, great people on it. It was fascinating.
How long did you play in the NFL?
Top to bottom 11 years. I was accredited for 10, but in the 11th year I left.
And you're a lawyer as well. How'd you have time for that?
I did it afterwards.
Okay. Wow.
So after I played, I worked in the financial industry for a while, and then after that, I went to law school.
Who
How did you make that decision?
Well, I got very smart friends, and I called up my agent, who was my lawyer at the time, and I was going over some of the things I wanted to do afterwards. And he suggested I go to law school, and I took his advice because he had represented me the entire time, and he still represents me today. And he's a smart guy, and he's hit on all cylinders all the time. So I just followed his advice. It's real simple.
and
Said, all right, you're done. Now you're going to law school. And you're like, okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it was a great decision. And again, I had great advice, so I just followed the advice, and it was a good decision.
do you think there's more opportunities now for players leaving the NFL than there was during your time?
Yeah, well, because the media is different.
Yeah.
Now, when I came in 1981, there was no free agency. So if whatever team you were on, and you were there basically forever. Now, thank God I was with the Los Angeles Rams because that was my favorite team as a kid.
Okay.
So, and I'm from Detroit. At the time, and for a long time the Lions were no good. So I'm not really a
So you
Lions
became
fan.
so wait, you grew up in Detroit, but you were a Lions fan, huh? Or I mean, a Rams fan?
Yes,
Wow.
my favorite player was Deacon Jones.
Okay.
He's a great Ram player, and but you know what I liked was the Rams always came in the afternoon, right? Because they had the first game was like, during the East Coast, the second game was West Coast, so we'd watch the West Coast game, and it'd be green and palm trees, and then the Rams had all the players. It was a glamour team, and I just fell in love with the Rams. They're my favorite team, and I played Pop Warner for the West Side Cubs, and I just loved the Rams. I loved Deacon Jones, so then I got drafted by him, many
Wow.
years later, and it was dream come true. So I was playing with the Rams in 1981, and there was no free agency. So there's opportunities. Don't get me wrong, but not like there is today with all the social media and the streaming and the internet and all the other outlets you can go. And then 87, 80, 82, there was a strike. 87, there was a strike. 92, I believe, was the time where they resolved the lawsuit. And then that was the first time a $1 billion TV contract was in place with free agency, and then everything blew up from that point.
Got it. Interesting. And then do you currently live in Los Angeles now?
I live in Orange County.
Okay. Okay. And how many kids do you have?
I have two boys,
Two boys. How old are they?
18 and 20.
What do they think about their father being the Golden Bachelor?
Well, they're at the time they were teenagers,
Yeah.
and teenagers are teenagers, and they were just, like, do it, don't do it, what is it? They knew about The Bachelor, but they weren't really invested. As a matter of fact, my younger son, we were actually watching the Grant season just by happen chance, right? This was before I was even casted. I wasn't
Okay.
even contacted. We were just watching it. It came on, and I sort of it was like maybe in the second week of the programming. And so he was watching it with me. And so that was the first time he watched it. And, obviously I knew about it. So when I'm telling him how it works and he's watching it, then the advertisement came on for the Golden Bachelor. And he said, "Oh,
Okay.
Dad, you should do that." And I just, well, I didn't give any thought, right? We're just watching it. And then I got hooked on the Grant season. So I recorded it, going forward. So like
Yeah.
week 2 to week whenever, I just recorded the series. Then it came on again, and my son was there. He goes, "Oh, Dad, you're lucky, man." He goes, "It's on again. You're watching it." He didn't know I was recording it, right?
Yeah.
So he got hooked on it too. So then he's watching the women, and then he started, picking like, "Oh, did you keep hit her and let her go, and how come he's doing this?" So he got into it, right? And then we followed it to the end, and we saw the final episodes. So then the Golden Bachelor opportunity came. So he was more into it. The older one hadn't been exposed to it. So, but they got more and more into it as I started talking to him about it. So they finally came around.
Well, and if there's ever a time to get into it, it's when your dad's the Bachelor. This is the perfect
Yeah,
time.
they were, once they realized that I had a chance, then they were in on it, right? But they're a little hesitant about getting filmed and all of that. So
Yeah.
they came around, after I explained to them, and then they're sort of slowly, shown how the show works, and then they came around.
And you're divorced, correct?
Yes,
Do you still talk to your ex-wife?
not really,
Okay. Do you have any idea how she feels about you being the Golden Bachelor?
not really.
Okay. All right.
You're an ex-football player, so you obviously had all of your techniques for preparing for a game. How did you prepare to go film your season of The Bachelor?
Well, no matter what you do in any business, you have to have focus, right? And you should study and know what it's about. Especially if something like the Bachelor, it's a long running show, so you should be able to look back on some of the, episodes and find out, what happened, because I hadn't seen it for a long time, other than the Grant season. And I hadn't seen really the Golden Bachelor. But, you don't really know about this. They can tell you about it until you're in it. And then when you're in it, it's just completely different than what you thought it was. But, you have to have stamina, energy, focus. And those are all the things you have to do when you're in business, no matter what business you're in. So it wasn't I did anything new, but I just focused more, and I just, and I knew I was going to go away for like, 2 months, and got my mindset ready from that standpoint.
Did you get any advice from anyone from the Bachelor franchise that had done it before, during, or after filming?
Jesse Palmer. Jesse gave me advice, because he had, obviously he's the host, so he sees everything.
Yeah.
And then when he was, younger, he was the Bachelor. So, he was, and he played football too.
Played in the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and, obviously played college and he played pro. So we have a lot of things in common. He actually is married to a Brazilian gal too. My wife was Brazilian. So there's a lot of similarities
A
there.
lot in common. Wow.
So
Yeah.
I was all ears.
Yeah, he's kind of the best person to give you advice. What did he
What was
tell
it?
you?
Yeah. What was his advice?
Just just like I told you, stay focused, and know what's going on around you, and and he's in production too, right? So he knows all about the way it's produced, and he also does football. He broadcasts football games in the Food Network, so he has a lot of experience in front of it and behind it. So just to be aware of things, and and just advice along the way. And plus, he was on set a lot, so I got to talk to him and I ate dinner and breakfast with him a lot.
Nice. Nice.
Great. What were you most excited for, and what were you most nervous for going into the season?
Just anticipation, because I didn't know what to expect, other than I know that it was going to be a first-rate, great run production, which they all are. And I knew they're going to have the beautiful women, and sophisticated women, and the profile they try to match up with your profile. So I knew all of that going in was going to be great. I didn't think anything other than it was just going to be a great experience.
What was dating like before this for you?
I really didn't date before, because I had my boys growing up, right? And my boys were with me the majority of the time. So I had them, and all my energy was with them. So maybe a handful of dates here and there, but nothing serious, nothing long term, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk women. Mel, what is your type?
Well, I've said it before. Someone who has energy, great personality, active, adventurous, lifetime learner. But energy is a big deal.
Do you
Okay.
typically date like blondes, brunettes,
Doesn't matter.
tall, short?
That doesn't matter.
No.
There's not that doesn't matter.
What do you do? Do you are you active? Do you go to the gym a lot? Any sports now?
Other than just dominating my kids, like in ping pong and in basketball, but I don't play sports. I work out, obviously, to
Okay.
stay in shape. But I don't play, just like basketball a little bit, ping pong, bowl, but no golf, nothing like that.
Do you
Got
miss
it.
football?
What's that?
Do you miss football?
No,
That's so funny.
no.
I feel like all professional athletes say that. Like they don't usually, they're usually like, no, I'm good. Like I had my time and
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm on to
Exactly.
the next phase.
Those were my words. Good. I had my time. I played 26 straight years of football.
It's a long
I
time.
love football. I love
Yeah.
sports. My boys play baseball. They're going to play baseball in college. I'm all about college sports, high school sports, because I was coaching at the high school for a number of years, football. So I like to be around the sport. I like, coaching, young people, and sharing knowledge. But, you know, playing wise, no, I had my time.
Okay, let's go. Take us to night one. You're standing there waiting for the women. to step out of the limo? What's going through your head at that point?
I'm just nervous, man. Just nervous. Just, anticipation, nerves, excitement,
Yeah.
but it was a wonderful feeling though. It really was. Because, there's a lot of leading up to it, a lot of people telling you, not so much what to expect, but like production. You're standing here, they're going to come here, this is what's going to happen. And basically it's flawless, as you guys know, except for there are a few glitches here and there, but they just smooth right over them. But mainly it was just nervousness. And, it was good nerves because, I played football, I'm an attorney, before cases, before games. If you're not nervous, then you're not
You're
serious.
not excited. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not excited, you're not nervous. So, and it can't be manufactured. So, the nerves are real, but they're good nerves. And I just enjoyed it.
Nice.
Night one is Joe and I is one of our
intense.
favorite episodes because there's so much emotion. It's so intense, but having been there, it is such a well-oiled machine. Like they have night one down to a science. So you really just kind of get to like, you're just flowing through the motions of where they're telling you to go,
It's one
what
of the
they're telling you to do.
greatest experiences I've ever had in my life.
Mhm.
Those 3-4 hours, because it takes a little while, to get them all through the introductions. But it's just something that to experience is unreal. It really is. It was a really good experience.
For these women, what could they if, let's say, you end up with someone, what could she expect with a life with you after the show?
I'm a nice guy. You're going to have a lot of fun with me. I'm interested in them, and what they do, because it's got to be a two-way street. Um, I'm choosing them, but they're also choosing me. And there's going to be a lot of similarities, but also I want to learn from them as well, because that's why, we're together. And it just can't be one-sided either way. So I think for me, they're gonna get someone who's excited, to live life and to keep learning and have personal growth.
Are you still working or are you retired?
I'm still working.
Is traveling back and forth or potentially moving cities something that you would consider?
Yeah, well, anything's possible. It just depends on the circumstance,
Yeah.
and where I live and then where she lives. But you never know. And I talked to Chalk. I think his name is Chalk.
Yeah.
From the first Bachelorette, Golden Bachelorette, and they live apart, right? I mean, I think they're engaged, but they live apart and they travel. So, if you want it to happen, it can happen.
Yeah. On the first night of The Bachelor, there is the first impression rose. What were you keeping an eye out for when you're looking for someone that makes a good first impression?
Well, just that, the impression, right? What really hits you, hard, and that you can say, wow, that was something different. That was really a different experience. And that one made an impression on me, obviously. So I really wasn't looking for the first impression other than feeling it. And then when you feel it, you go, oh, that's the person. And look, they all were impressive, right? And they all had great stories and very sophisticated and accomplished. So it's hard to say that's the one, except for on that night, that was the one.
Of course.
And so it's a special, feeling, and that's why the person gets the first impression rose.
Of course. It's going to be 20 something amazing women, but you're hopefully not going to fall in love with all of them.
Yeah, you probably could, but to what extent? Because, they're all amazing. But, there's different personalities, and they come from different parts of the country, and they have different backgrounds. And, you're looking for someone that matches with you. And, sometimes it does. And, sometimes maybe 8 out of 10 do, and, things match, and then only 2 out of 3 over here. But, and maybe the thing that you like the most, maybe their sense of humor that you're attracted to most.
What ended up being an unexpected challenge for you as the lead?
Well, the not the timing, but the scheduling, right? And I'm fine with all of it. Um, but and I was ready for whatever happened because I'm coachable. I've been, through a lot of things that are on time, scheduling. Um, but you have to be amenable to changes and be able to pivot, when you have to. Um, and it wasn't that big of a challenge, but it was something that you had to get used to because things change. Weather changes, people change, schedules change, equipment. So, it was something that was a little bit out of the ordinary for my day to day as I was doing it, prior to this.
Something that we see a lot of the leads that come on this podcast express that they have difficulty with is the eliminations, sending people home that they obviously have grown to care about and kind of breaking their heart a little bit. How was that for you?
Same way. I
Yeah.
mean, you just don't want to do it, right? Because you know how much time and energy they've invested into, the process, into the journey. And obviously, as it gets, deeper into the season, into the show, it becomes more difficult because you spend more time with them and you get to know them. And there's no rhyme or reason really that you're, letting people go other than that's just the way the show is set up. I said if I had met, the women individually, it would be yes to all of them individually, but that's not how it works. It's, there's like 23 or 25, on a show, and you're getting down to one. So the way the show works and the way the journey is that people are going to be let go, but it's painful nonetheless because you get to know these people and they don't deserve to let go other than that's the way the show works. And but it does hurt your heart letting them go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy breaking hearts. Do you remember when was the last time that you could remember that you started falling for a woman?
Well, my wife,
Okay.
because I was, 25 years ago, whenever it was. Um,
Okay.
and that was 25 years ago. So that was the time.
And did you ever expect to feel those feelings again?
No, because I thought I was going to be married forever. And,
Yeah.
25 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm not expecting anything different. So I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm falling in love. And then in my head, I'm thinking about falling in love again. No, because I'm married.
Got it.
Is that your goal going on as the Golden Bachelor? You want to find someone to spend the rest of your life with?
Well, yeah, I was open to find someone who I could share my life with.
Mhm.
And you don't know until you're on the show and you're meeting and speaking with and spending time with the women. But that's the ultimate goal. And you have to tune in to find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did your boys give you any advice when you went on the show?
I don't remember exactly, the any um, strict advice they gave me, other than just have fun, right, and be yourself. Because I'm going to be myself no matter what.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be someone that I'm not because I can't be. But they weren't giving me any advice other than just be myself. And they know me and they know that I'd be myself.
Was there anything they're like, just please, don't do this? Like anything like that?
No, because the thing is, they hadn't watched the show, so
Mm.
they weren't real
Got it.
familiar with all the ins and outs and ups and downs of the show and what really happens. Because the older one, I don't think ever watched it. Not that I know of. He might have watched it on his phone. And the younger one just watched it, maybe 5 weeks with me or 4 weeks with me. And he was sort of like in and out too, watch it for a little bit and then he'd leave. And then, oh, that girl's still there. Or why'd you get rid of her? Right. So they're not invested in the franchise. So they didn't know how it works. So they didn't have any advice like, hey, don't do this and don't do that because of something they saw before. So not
Got
real.
it. Did you at all during your time as the lead ever think, what it would be like to be on the opposite end of that? Because like usually, you know, with Golden, it's been a little different where the leads, most of them besides Joan, well, the two Bachelor leads never experienced being on the show. Did you think about that at all? Is that something that crossed your
Yeah,
mind?
I tried to put myself in their place when I was, talking to them, and how hard it must have been for them, and to put themselves out there. And also remember, you're competing more or less with other women, and you're also you're living with them also. So you have all those other sort of personality things going on inside the mansion. So I tried to put myself in their shoes, when I was talking to them, and they were relating to me how difficult it was, because they also were never in that situation either. But I was on the other side, and I know how difficult it must be to be in their chair, going through these experiences, with other women as well. So to answer your question, yes, to an extent.
Nice.
Bachelor is known for their iconic dates. They do, the helicopters and the yachts and all the exciting travel. Was there anywhere that you were hoping to get to travel to, or any type of date that you were hoping to get to go on?
Well, they had called me and asked me what things I like to do, and things of that sort, and I just told them. But they do such a great job. I didn't want to mess it up. All right, I go, you guys just do your professional job, and I know it's going to be great. And they're all great. They're all amazing experiences, right? Just wonderful. So I'm glad I didn't offer up anything that would screw it up, and they did a great job.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's what they're good at. You know, like that's
Oh, it's
that's their
amazing. It's
yeah, that's their
just
area.
amazing.
They don't need a lead to come in and be like, because that's what I would do if I was
That's
the
what
lead.
Joe
I'd be
would
like,
do.
oh, we're gonna change this whole fucking show around right
Yeah.
now, and then they'd be like, all
No,
right,
They'd be like,
what,
and now it's canceled.
yeah,
yeah,
it's
exactly. And the
over.
thing is, I'm just smart enough to know, don't mess the program up.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Because when I went to the University of Michigan, I was 17 years old, and I got there, and then you have all these ideas, and you go, no, it's been around for a long time. I go, I'm just going to follow the program. If I just follow the program, it's going to be great. So I was going to follow the program, and it was great.
I like that. Last but not least, what advice would you give to any future Golden Bachelors?
Just the advice that everybody gave me, because even the people who are in production, the producers, and the people that were there, and Jesse, they can give you all the advice, and tell you how it's going to be, but you just don't know until you're in it. And when you're in it, I mean, it's fast and furious, and it's condensed. Like you're like, from really, for like 2 months, you're just like putting it together. Patience is what you need,
Yeah,
right? And just patience. It's going to be good. Let it happen. Open mind, open heart.
I
Are
agree.
you doing anything fun for the premiere? It's right around the corner. Do you have any plans?
Actually, I'll be in New York, because they've got the things planned for me. And again, I'm just following along the program.
Just go with
You're
it.
just along
go
for
with
the
it.
ride.
I'm
Just
just
go
going
with
with
it.
it, right?
There we
I'm not going
go.
to try to do anything different. I'm just going to go with it.
You're
So
like, tell me where to be. I'll be there.
yeah, I'm not planning. I'm not planning anything. They're planning.
They're
Nice.
planning.
Well, Mel, I am really looking forward to watching your season, and it was
It's going to be
great,
good, man.
great
It's gonna
meeting
be
you for
good.
the
It's gonna be
first
great.
September
time.
24th.
Love
September
that.
24th. Tune
24th.
in.
We will.
And to all our listeners, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Bachelor Happy Hour. Make sure you download and subscribe to the podcast.
We have new and exclusive interviews every single week. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Mel.